in the pulsing heart of Manhattan, where skyscrapers cast long shadows over dreams, Ethan Caldwell, a 38-year-old tech CEO, lived a life of meticulous control. His days were a symphony of boardroom negotiations, stock market updates, and the soft chaos of raising his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, alone. Since his wife, Emily, passed 3 years ago, Ethan's world had shrunk to spreadsheets and bedtime stories, his heart armored against anything that might disrupt the delicate balance. Lily, with her gap-toothed smile and endless questions, was his anchor, but even she couldn't fill the quiet ache that lingered in his penthouse at night. His best friend, Marcus, a charismatic venture capitalist with a penchant for meddling, saw the wear in Ethan's eyes. Over bourbon at their favorite midtown bar, Marcus slid a napkin across the table, scribbled with a name and a time. "One blind date," he urged, his grin infectious. "For me, Ethan." "You're not dead yet." Ethan sighed, rubbing his temples. Romance was a luxury he couldn't afford, but Marcus's persistence was relentless. "Fine," he muttered, "but only to get you off my back." The date was set for Friday at Leto, a rooftop restaurant where Manhattan's elite sipped overpriced martinis under starlit glass. Ethan, ever the pragmatist, expected little more than a polite evening and a quick exit. Friday arrived, crisp and electric, the city buzzing with autumn's edge. Ethan stepped into Leto in a tailored charcoal suit, his presence commanding despite the faint lines of exhaustion around his eyes. Marcus had promised a game-changer. Vanessa, a 35-year-old marketing exec with a Harvard MBA and a smile that closed deals. Ethan scanned the room, expecting her sleek silhouette. Instead, his gaze snagged on a young woman at the bar, her worn denim jacket a stark contrast to the sequined dresses and crisp blazers around her. She was laughing with the bartender, her dark hair tumbling over her shoulders, her eyes bright with a warmth that felt like sunlight breaking through clouds. Ethan's chest tightened, a sensation he hadn't felt since Emily. He overheard her name and something about her, unguarded and vibrant, routed him in place. She wasn't his date, but he wished she were. Vanessa arrived moments later, a vision in emerald silk, her handshake firm and her conversation sharper. She was everything Marcus had advertised, poised, witty, a woman who navigated Ethan's world with ease. They sat at a candlelit table, the city sprawling below like a glittering promise. Vanessa talked acquisitions and art galleries, her laugh polished but practiced. Ethan nodded, smiled, played the part but his eyes kept drifting to Mia, now scribbling in a tattered notebook at the bar, her brow furrowed in concentration. Vanessa noticed, her fork pausing midair. "Distracted already?" she teased, though her tone carried a subtle sting. Ethan apologized, forcing his focus back, but the conversation felt like wading through fog. Vanessa's world was calculated, ambitious, but it lacked the color Mia seemed to radiate without trying. When Vanessa excused herself for a call, Ethan found himself at the bar, ordering a whiskey he didn't need. Mia glanced up, her pen pausing. "Rough night?" she asked, her voice warm, like a melody you hum without thinking. Ethan chuckled, loosening his tie. "Just a broken bar, not what I expected." She grinned, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "Blind dates are the worst. I'm just here killing time before my shift." Shift? She was a waitress, maybe a student, her life a universe apart from his. Yet her ease, her unfiltered honesty, hooked him. They talked about Lily's obsession with dinosaurs, Mia's dream of opening a community art studio, the way she found beauty in cracked sidewalks and late-night diners. When Vanessa returned, her smile tighter now, Ethan felt a pang of guilt but no regret. He ended the date early, citing an early meeting, and lingered until Mia's shift began. On impulse, he scribbled his number on a napkin and slid it to her. "Your trouble, suit guy," she said, tucking it into her pocket, but her eyes sparkled with possibility. 3 weeks later, Ethan was a man unmarried. He'd seen Mia 5 times since that night, the coffee runs in the village, a walk through Central Park where she plucked leaves to show Lily their veins, a Saturday where she taught his daughter to paint watercolors on his pristine kitchen floor. Ethan didn't care about the mess, the sight of Lily giggling, her hands smeared with blue, and Mia's laughter filling the room was worth more than his imported marble. Mia was chaos and color, a whirlwind of thrift store sweaters and big dreams. Living in a cramped Brooklyn walk-up with $12 in her bank account and a heart that refused to dim. She worked 2 jobs waitressing and tutoring art to kids at a community center, yet she carried the lightness Ethan envied. Lily adored her, calling her the Rainbow Lady after Mia braided her hair with bright ribbons. Ethan, who'd built a billion-dollar company on logic, was falling, and it terrified him. But his world wasn't built for fairy tales. At a board meeting, his CFO raised an eyebrow when Ethan mentioned Mia in passing, muttering about optics and public perception. His mother, a Park Avenue matriarch, fretted over dinner about class differences, her pearls clutched as she urged him to consider someone more suitable. Even Marcus, who'd started this mess, pulled him aside as the gym. "She's great, man, but she's not like us," he said, meaning wealth, not heart. "You sure you're not just a broken bar rebounding?" Ethan bristled. Mia wasn't the rebound, she was a revelation. Still, doubt crept in. His life was a high-stakes chess game. Could he bring someone like Mia, with her paint-splattered sneakers and zero connections, into it without breaking something? One evening, at a hole-in-the-wall diner Mia loved, she pushed a greasy menu aside and fixed him with a serious look. "Ethan, I'm not your world. I've got dreams that don't pay and a bank account that's more hope than money. You sure about this?" Her voice was steady, but her fingers twisted a napkin, betraying her nerves. Ethan reached for her hand, his Rolex glinting against her chipped nail polish. "I've never been surer," he said, and meant it. Later, under a flickering streetlight, he kissed her, the city's hum fading to a whisper. It was messy, imperfect, and Rella everything his life hadn't been. Weeks turned into months, and Mia became a fixture in Ethan's world, though not without friction. Lily's school events were a clash of culture as Mia and her thrifts to wore dresses beside private school moms in Chanel. At a company gala, Ethan overheard a board member whisper about the waitress, and his jaw clenched, but Mia just laughed it off, stealing his champagne and dragging him to the dance floor. She didn't belong, yet she fit perfectly, her hand in his like it was made to be there. Lily, too, was changing, a more confident, sketching dinosaurs with rainbow scales, her laughter louder with Mia around. But the whispers grew. A tabloid ran a blurry photo of them at a food truck. The headline snide, "CEO's new fling, from boardroom to bargain bin." Ethan wanted to sue, but Mia stopped him. "Let them talk," she said, tossing the paper in the trash. "They don't know us." The turning point came on a chilly December evening. Ethan had planned a quiet night at his penthouse, but Mia arrived with a canvas and paints, insisting they create something together. Lily squealed, diving into the project, while Ethan, in a rare moment of abandon, let Mia guide his hand across the canvas, their fingers tangled in blues and yellows. The result was a chaotic masterpiece, now hanging above his fireplace. Later, as Lily slept, Mia curled against him on the couch, her voice soft. "I'm scared, Ethan." "These are you, Lilia. It's more than I ever dreamed." "But what if I'm not enough for your world?" He tilted her chin up, meeting her eyes. "You're not just enough, you're everything." The next day, he called a board meeting, not about mergers or profits, but about his life. He stood before his team, the men and women who'd built his empire, and spoke plainly. "I'm in love with someone who doesn't fit your mold. She's not a CEO or a socialite. She's better. She's real. And if that's a problem, we'll have bigger ones." The room was silent. Then his CFO, the same one who'd questioned optics, nodded. "About time you lived a little, boss." Months later, at a small art show Mia organized for her community center kids, Ethan watched her move through the crowd, praising each child's work with the warmth that made them glow. Lily tugged his hand, pointing at a painting of a rainbow dinosaur. "That's ours," she whispered, proud. Ethan pulled Mia close, ignoring the curious stares from Brooklyn locals and Manhattan stragglers alike. "Marry me," he murmured, not a question but a certainty. Mia laughed, tears in her eyes. "You're still trouble, suit guy." But she said yes. Under the same streetlight where they'd first kissed, the city alive around them. It wasn't the blind date Marcus had planned, but it was the love Ethan never saw coming, a love that didn't fit his world but made it whole, painted in colors he'd forgotten existed.